Hello, very good morning to you all. Here I am, your Virat Kumar, the lecturer in Electrical and Electronics Engineering from the Institute of Government Polytechnic Vattipalli with the semester of 4, the same subject of AC machines with the code of 18EE403C for diploma guys. And the main topic is three-phase transformers. And the subtopic for today is transformer maintenance. Transformer maintenance. So in a three-phase transformers, so this is the last topic of three-phase transformers. It is transformer maintenance. So a small recap of previous session, that in the previous class you have learnt about accessories of transformer, conservator, breather, explosion vent, oil level indicator. So all this kind of accessories we have learnt in the previous class. I hope you have got some idea about that, and I hope that you have seen the video which I have shared in the YouTube. So these are main accessories. Since we have learned many accessories involved in the transformer, in the single phase transformer itself, but the main accessories are being seen in the previous class in depth. So moving on to the today's objectives. So on completion of this period, you should be able to know the maintenance schedule of transformer as per standard specifications. Maintenance schedule of transformer as per standard specification. Actually, what does the maintenance involve? Why actually it should be done? What is it actually? See, for any equipment, in order to increase its life, it should be maintained regularly. Even though for our human beings also, we need to maintain our body physically, mentally, and etc. in order to increase our lifespan. So similarly, each and every device also has some maintenance is done in order to increase the lifespan of the device. We spent a huge amount on them, and if it works for about 2 to 3 years, so then it is not economical. So in order to grab the maximum life of it, there will be some minimum maintenance which is done regularly. So especially we have a maintenance subject also in this curriculum, in your curriculum. I think it is in your last semester, so that we'll be seeing on later, but as of now we'll be seeing the maintenance schedule of transformer as per the standard specifications. Maintenance of transformer. A rigid system of inspection and preventive maintenance will ensure long life, as I've said you, and trouble-free service. Trouble-free service. If regular maintenance is there won't be any trouble. Like if we buy a bike or car or something else, it should be regularly maintained. Like at least moving it for once in a day, and regular services, just for an example. So then it won't give a maximum trouble for us, so that will be a trouble-free service. And low maintenance cost and high reliability. So if you just maintain regularly, there will be a low maintenance cost and will be highly reliable. What is reliable? That is a long, it works for a long duration, highly reliable. If you won't maintain regularly, like if we ignore or like for example, we as a human beings, if we ignore our health and we don't follow the um, diet, exercise, and all those things. So one day you'll be suffered a lot and will be cost huge for your medical bills if you get hospitalized. So similarly, if these are also not maintained regularly, then there will be a day that you will be spending more on them. So if you've done regularly, there will be a low maintenance cost and high reliability. So it consists of regular inspection, testing, and reconditioning where necessary. So it has regular inspection and continuous testing and reconditioning where necessary. Attention and maintenance vary with the service conditions and load cycle of transformer. Attention and maintenance vary with the service conditions and load cycle of transformers. Precautions to be taken before starting maintenance. Here we have some Indian standard rules that IS 1886 to 1967 for transformer operating less than 1000 kVA, the transformer should be disconnected from the supply. Windings and tanks should be solidly earthed. The manufacturer's recommendation should be followed for maintenance and repairs. The flame should not be kept near the transformer at the time of maintenance work. So these are some precautions to be taken before starting the maintenance of a transformer. Is that Indian Standard 1886 to 1967 for transformer of rating less than 1000 kVA, and the transformer should be disconnected from supply. When you are maintaining it, you need to disconnect it from the supply. Windings and tanks should be solidly earthed. Solidly means properly, heavily earthed. And the manufacturer's recommendation should be followed for maintenance and repairs. So when you are manufacturing a transformer, it should be recommended for maintenance and repair, and it should not be like a use and throw a device. It should be maintained, and if any error occurs, it should also get repaired. Flame should not be kept near the transformer at the time of maintenance work. When you are maintaining, the flame should not be kept near the transformer. So this is oil pressure indicator. As we have seen some accessories in the last class, like oil gauge, oil pressure indicator. So you can see this is a practical oil pressure indicator with some analog meter. It's not a digital meter. Sorry, it's an analog meter. This is also that oil gauge meter, some connections, part of it. And this, you can see here, cross-sectional view of pressure relief device. The cross-sectional view of pressure relief device. You see this device. This is the body, the supporting plate, levels, limit switch, hook or hood, gasket, These are the gasket, a spring, gulled, nothing but the tube, spring, hoses. And this is the diagram which we have seen in the last. Same, you will be having a oil flow indicator over here, which we have seen the diagrams in the previous slide. Now this one was seen in the last class also. Now we see the what kind of maintenance to be done. The table 1, ISA, Indian Standard Rules. As per ISA 1886 to 1967, recommended maintenance. So the recommended maintenance schedule for transformers of capacity is less than 1000 kVA, firstly serial number, the next column is inspection frequency, the item to be inspected, and inspection notes, what kind of action required if inspection shows unsatisfactory conditions. Firstly, inspection frequency, it should be done hourly, for every hour. And the item to be inspected is load current. Inspection notes, what to be inspected, check against rated figures. What is the rated current and what you have inspected, and we need to check for the rated figure if it is low or high. If it is low, there is no issue, and if it is high only, then there will be some issues. No action to be taken, it's a continuous check. And in the continuation, second, hourly, this should also be done hourly. What kind of inspection? Voltage, and check against the rated figure, and nothing to be done. Thirdly, this should be done daily. And what is the thing? Dehydrating dehydrating breather. Check that air passage are clear, and check color of active agents. As we have said in the yesterday, we have seen a bit also in it, that actually the silica gel is induced in the breather. Natural color of it is pink or sky blue, and if it is draining, then it turns into pale yellow. So that we need to check that air passage are clear and check color of active agent. And if the silica gel is pink, change by spare charge, the old charge may be reactivated for use again. So one action to be done, if silica gel is pink, actually blue color, pink, and if it is totally damaged, turns to pale yellow. So if silica gel is pink, change by spare charge, the old charge may be reactivated for use again. It may be used again. And the next, it's a monthly checkup. What to be checked is oil level in transformer. So check the transformer oil level. That can be seen by your oil gauges. What action to be done? If low, top up with dry oil and examine transformer for leaks. And if the transformer oil is low, then top up with dry oil. That means you just fill it. And also you should examine transformer for any leaks. If there are leaks, so the oil level decreases drastically. It may lead to huge loss. So you should check the leaks also. And fifth one is a quarterly inspection. What should be inspected is bushings, and examine for cracks and deposits. An action to be done is clean or replace. Bushings, as we have learnt, it is an insulating medium between the live conductor and to the earth transformer, and you need to examine for cracks and deposit. If so, an action to be done is clean or replace. And in the continuation, the sixth one is half yearly. The inspection should be done half yearly. The inspection should be done is half yearly. And the item to be inspected is non-conservative transformer. That means this where there is no conservator for the transformer. And check for moisture under cover. And action to be done is improve ventilation and also check the oil. So this is for non-conservative tank of a transformer. For every half a year you need to inspect, check for moisture under cover, and improve ventilation, and also check the oil level. The seventh point. This is a yearly inspection. Item to be inspected is oil in transformer. And what kind of inspection is? Check for dielectric strength and water content, and also check for acidity and sludge. So these are all the things which we need to check yearly. So check for dielectric strength and water content, and check for acidity and sludge. And if so, the action to be taken is take suitable action to restore the quality of oil. Like if any sludge is found, just remove the sludge and fill the leftover level of the oil, and check for acidity and restore it, remove it, and check for dielectric strength. Is the oil is in good insulating and cooling property or not, and check the water content. If so, it impures the oil as a conductivity. So this should be done yearly. And the other eighth one is, this is also a yearly inspection. It is for earth resistance, that every transformer should be earthed. There are minimum 3 to 4 earthings. One is for structure, and one is for transformer, and the other is for neutral, and the other is for equipment and all those things. So the earthing is also inspected yearly, and if it is not proper, so you need to take suitable action if earth resistance is high. Actually the earth resistance should be low, then only if any fault current occurs, then it directly enters into the earth instead of entering into human beings. If it is low, then only it enters into the earth, because always the current tries to flow in low resistance path. And take suitable action if earth resistance is high. If it is high, you need to make it low by pouring some water in it, by wetting it. In the continuation, the ninth maintenance is, this is also done yearly. Yearly inspection. For item to be inspected is relays, alarms, their circuits, and etc. What should we examine is examine relay and alarm contacts, their operation, fuses, and etc. Check relay accuracy also. And if any problem occurs, the action to be taken is clean the components and replace contacts and fuses if necessary, and change the setting if necessary. That here the relay continues involve that if any fault occurs, the relay senses the fault and gives a signal to circuit breaker so as to trip the circuit from the damage. So these are to be maintained perfect. And the 10th maintenance is it is done for every 2 years. So 2 yearly maintenance. The item to be maintained is non-conservator transformer. So similarly same, if there is no conservator for a transformer, there is also a non-conservator transformer that we just find in a distribution transformers, not for power transformers. So that is why the inspection is very large in duration of 2 years. And this exam is to be done is internal inspection above core. Internal inspection above core. That is, if any problem arises, the action to be taken is filter oil regardless of condition. Filter oil regardless of condition. The 11th point is for every 5 years. Inspection is done for every 5 years. That is overall inspection including lifting coils. So for every 5 years there is an overall inspection including lifting coils. The action to be taken is wash with clean and dry oil. Wash with clean dry oil. Moving on to the next slide. Now here we're gonna observe table number 2. This is recommended maintenance schedule for transformer of capacities of 1000 kVA and above. Now in previous we have seen the recommended maintenance schedule for a transformers below the capacity of 1000 kVA, and now we are seeing the maintenance schedule for 1000 kVA and above. Okay. The same, firstly serial number, inspection frequency, and item to be inspected, and inspection notes, and action required if inspection shows unsatisfactory condition. The first one in it is the first maintenance is the inspection frequency is hourly. It should be done for every hour. The item to be inspected is ambient temperature. Nothing to be noted and nothing to be taken any action. Moving on to the next slide of maintenance in table number 2, the continuation. Here the second one Second maintenance is the inspection frequency is hourly. Item to be inspected is ambient temperature again, and it should be done that check that temperature rise is reasonable. The temperature is rising reasonably, not increasing suddenly or decreasing suddenly. Actually, there won't be any decrease in the temperature, it always will be in the range of increasing only, but you need to check for reasonable rise. And if so, the action to be taken is shut down the transformer and investigate either persistently higher than normal. The same thing to be done for oil temperature also, and the inspection frequency is hourly. What kind of temperature of oil? And check the same temperature. If the rise is reasonable, if not satisfactory, then you need to shut down the transformer and investigate either persistently higher than normal. And moving on to the fourth point, the inspection frequency is hourly. For every hour you need to inspect it, and the item to be inspected is load ampere. It means load current. And check against rated figure. You'll be having some rated current. So you need to check that if the load ampere is exceeding beyond the rated value or not. And the fifth one is the inspection frequency is hourly. The item to be inspected is voltage. The same check against rated figures. So for any transformer, generally we have rated current, rated power, rated voltage, and there so it is designed according to that values. There will be some plus or minus 5 to 10% of increasing or decreasing nature, but beyond that it cannot be paid since it is designed for the rated values. Actually here you can see that the winding which is done by the copper is suited, or the cross section of it or the length or the size of the conductor depends on the value of current. So there won't be huge cross section or less in cross section, it just depends on the value of the current. So the conductor size depends on the current, and similarly there will be some insulation parts in the transformer. The value of insulation is according to the value of voltage. So insulation depends on the levels of voltage involved in it. So actually when the transformer is manufactured, so it is designed as per that rated current and as per the rated voltages. We cannot put it more values of copper or more values of insulation, because it leads to huge cost and heavy in size, and we cannot also limit them also, because it gets damaged easily. So it is designed according to the rated values. So we need to check continuously that if any value is the load ampere or the voltage is exceeding beyond the rated figures. And in the continuation, the sixth maintenance is that it should be done daily, and the item to be inspected is oil level in transformer. and inspection done is check against transformer oil level. Some maintenance will be similar in the table 1 and table 2, that for below 1000 kVA and for above 1000 kVA there will be some slight some 3 to 4 differences. That's it. So sixth one is daily maintenance is done for oil level in transformer, and we need to check against transformer oil level. If it is not satisfactory, we need to, if it is low, then top up with dry oil and examine transformer for leaks. This we have seen in the table 1 also for below 1000 kVA transformers. And the seventh maintenance is, this is also done daily, and the item to be inspected is oil level in the bushings, oil level in the bushings, and nothing to be examined, nothing to be, no action to be taken. And next, the eighth maintenance is, this is also done daily. Inspection frequency is daily. The item to be inspected is leakage of water into cooler. Leakage of water into cooler. What is cooler actually? We observe the cooling tubes or the radiators, and the cooling, if we observe the cooling tubes, it is for below 1000 kVA for distribution transformer, all those things, which is built within the transformer tank. And if it is a power transfer like big capacity transformer, so there are separate cooling banks are attached on either sides, that is called cooling bank or radiators. So if any leakage of water into coolers, then what happens, the oil actually circulates from the tubes or radiators to the tank and to the radiators. If any leakages of water into the cooler, that leads to the damage of the oil. So if we observe any leakages, we need to replace if cracked or broken coolers are observed, coolers are seen. The ninth maintenance is, so daily maintenance, it is, the item is relief tap from, which is observed in the exhaust vent, and if it is broken, for example by short circuit etc., we need to replace it. That's it. Moving on to the next slide, in the continuation, 10th maintenance is, this is also done daily. The inspection frequency is daily. The item to be inspected is dehydrating breather, as we have seen in the table 1. The same thing I think is over here, that check that air passage is free, and also check color of active agent, examine for cracks and dirt deposits. So in breather, so you need to check that air passing is free and check color of active agent and examine for cracks and dirt deposits, since it is exposed to the air. And the item used in it is silica gel. If any unsatisfactory condition occurs, so if silica gel is pink, change by spare charge, and the old charge may be reactivated for use again. If turns into pink, change by spare charge by the newer silica gel, and the old one can be charged and may be reactivated for use again. The 11th maintenance is, the inspection frequency is quarterly. That means it should be done for every quarter. The maintenance is done every quarter, and the item to be inspected is bushing. The inspection done is that check for dielectric strength and water content or any dirt deposited on it. Since the bushings are exposed to the atmosphere, the dust, dirt or something else may get deposited, and the water content also. So by that it may lose its dielectric strength. So check for dielectric strength and water content. The action to be done is clean the surfaces, or if huge damage, broken or something else occurs, you need to just replace it with a newer one. And the 12th maintenance is frequency of my inspection is quarterly, and the item to be inspected is oil in the transformer, and the inspection to be done is quality of oil, and if it is unsatisfactory, take suitable action to restore quality of oil. Like we have seen in the table 1 that if any sludge or water content is stored or deposited on the surface of the oil, we need to check that and remove them, and if any level of oil decreases, we can again pour the oil. So take suitable action to restore the quality of oil. If the oil gets totally damaged, you need to shut down the transformer and remove the entire oil and replace with a newer oil. Moving on to the next slide, in the continuation of table 2, it's the 13th one, that is quarterly maintenance. The maintenance is done quarterly, and the item to be inspected is cooler fan, bearing, motors, and operating mechanism. So this is for a forced air cooling, air force, to done by fans and motors and all those things. So we need to inspect, the item to be inspected is cooler fan bearing with motors and operating mechanism. And the inspection to be done is lubricate bearings, check gearbox, examine contacts, check manual control and interlocks. Lubricate bearings, check gearbox, examine contacts, and check manual control and interlocks. If any unsatisfactory condition is occurred, you may replace burnt or worn contacts or other parts. If any lubricant or wires or any contacts may observed as burnt or worn, then you can replace with the other newer parts. The 14th one is half yearly. The inspection frequency is half yearly, and the item to be inspected is oil cooler, that is forced oil forced. So we need to inspect is test for pressure. So oil cooler, we need to test for pressure, what kind of pressure is built up in the oil cooler. The 15th one is half yearly maintenance. So here oil in the transformer, inspected is oil in the transformer, and check for acidity and sludge, the same. If so observed, filter the oil or replace it with a newer one. The 16th maintenance in the table 2 is yearly maintenance, that is by oil filled bushings. Test the oil, if any dust or sludge is observed, filter or replace. The 17th one is yearly maintenance, which is done for gasket joints. If any unsatisfactory condition is observed, tighten the bolts. So gasket joint, if any unsatisfactory is observed, we can tighten the bolts evenly to avoid uneven. And in the continuation to the next slide, 13th one is quarterly maintenance. It is the item to be inspected is cooler fan, bearing, motors and operating mechanisms. Already we have seen, and it should be inspected for lubricate bearing, check gearbox, examine contacts, check manual control and interlocks, If so, any unsatisfactory condition observed, just replace burnt or worn contacts or other parts. Already we have seen, I think. The same thing. Yes, the same was seen in the 18th slide. And in the continuation of table 2, this is the frequency of inspection is yearly. Item to be inspected is cable boxes. To be inspected is check for sealing arrangement, for filling holes, examine compound for cracks. If any fault or unsatisfactory condition occurs, please replace gaskets if any leakage occurs. The next, yearly maintenance. That is, the item to be inspected is surge diverter and gaps. That is, surge diverter is if any lighting or thunder occurs during rainy seasons, then the lighting arrestor is provided, that is a surge diverter and gaps. So the inspection done is examine for cracks and dirt deposits, and if so found, you can clean, or if any break or damage occurs, you may replace also. And the next one is yearly maintenance. That is for relays, alarms and their circuits, etc. As we have seen in the table 1. The same thing. Examine relay and alarm contacts and their operation, fuses, etc. And also check relay accuracy, because the relay is only a device which is used to sense the fault and then only gives the signal to the circuit breaker, then only trips from the fault and the system gets safe. So check the relay accuracy, how accurate it is sensing the fault. And if so, any unsatisfactory condition found, clean the components and replace the contacts and fuses if necessary, and change the settings if necessary. If any low grading settings are there, you can just improve it by changing the settings. Moving on to the next. The table 2 is yearly maintenance done for earth resistance as usually in the table 1, and take suitable action if earth resistance is high. As I've said you, it should be low. If it is high, take suitable action. The action is we need to wet the surface, wet the earth resistance, wet the earthing pits. And the 22nd one is the maintenance is done for every 5 years, and the item is 10,000 to 3,000 kVA transformer. The thing should be inspected is overall inspection including lifting of core and coils. Overall inspection means we need to just remove the entire oil, lifting of the core and also the coils. Wash by hosing down with clean dry oil. So wash it thoroughly and replace them and assemble them again with a clean and neat oil. And B in 22nd point is 7 to 10 years maintenance. For every 7 to 10 years, maintenance is done for every 7 to 10 years, that is for above 3000 kVA transformers. This is also same, overall inspection including lifting of core and coils, and wash by hosing down with clean dry oil. So that's it for the session. So these are some points about the maintenance which are very clear for below 1000 kVA and for above 1000 kVA with different tables of 1 and 2. And we'll see a small quiz involved in this topic, that complete overhauling of 100 kVA and above rated transformer is done for. Complete overhauling for 100 kVA and above rated transformer is done for half yearly? No. Complete overhauling is removing all the core and coils. That is not done half yearly, yearly or once in 2 years. It is for once in 5 years. So you can see here once in 5 years. That's it. The frequently asked questions in this session is write the maintenance schedule for transformer rating below 1000 kVA and give precautions to be taken before starting the maintenance of the transformer. So these are some items or questions to be asked. So that's it for this session. Thank you one and all. I hope you have got all the points clearly, and don't forget to see my videos which I am going to share you in the YouTube. And if you want more videos, please do subscribe and like and also share. Thank you one and all.